I'd like to now call on Mr. Jethmalani to give us his wise words today.
My gracious hosts, fellow guests, charming ladies, and only slightly less charming gentlemen. This session must be a bit of a surplusage. This subject which we are discussing in this session, or we are supposed to discuss, has already been discussed threadbare, and even the Ottawa Protocol is ready for signature. The various groups, parliamentarians as well as the experts have made their reports. And obviously what we are saying now is not going to make any difference to what has already been decided by my friend Everyone. But ladies and gentlemen, this is perhaps an occasion when I must at least dispel your understandable curiosity about my being present here in this session and in this convention. Ladies and gentlemen, I belong to India, a country which throughout its history has never seen the slightest trace of anti-Semitism, nor has it shown any hospitality of any kind to that vicious doctrine. I don't know whether you are aware that our Jewish citizens in India have occupied the highest positions of honor in our bureaucracy, in our armed forces, in the world of our movies, art, education, and libraries. So, ladies and gentlemen, some kind of anti-Semitism did become visible when India became independent, but that is because the first Prime Minister of India received some bad advice. We have a large population of Muslims in our country. Somebody thought that the Muslim population of India must be having some kind of hostility to the state of Israel. It was bad advice, it was false advice. Muslims and Jews had existed in India and throughout Indian history, and never has there been a single incident of any violence, hatred, or manifestation of hatred. Ladies and gentlemen, the effect of this bad advice to which my Prime Minister was vulnerable was that, in spite of the fact that we have extended both de facto and de jure recognition to the state of Israel, we did not establish full diplomatic relations. Israel was represented in India by a consul whose office was situated in the southern city of Bombay, but who was not allowed even to come to Delhi without permission. And ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to inform you that my home in Delhi was throughout that period the unofficial embassy of the State of Israel. I have resolutely stood for Indo-Israel relations. I ran an organization called the Federated Friends of Israel, and I had 45 branches spread throughout the vast continent of India. And ladies and gentlemen, I was all the time telling every successive government that please understand that Israel and the Jews are our great friends, and please do not turn them into enemies. For God's sake, stop this discrimination and establish full diplomatic relations. Ultimately, that advice prevailed, and ladies and gentlemen, not only did we establish full diplomatic relations with Israel 10 years ago, but today I am able to report to you with all sincerity and honesty that the two states and the two governments are locked in a fraternal embrace of love and compassion and cooperation, and they are the best of friends today, a friendship which would be envied with great jealousy and sometimes chagrin by the enemies of both the states. I thought that I had accomplished my mission of establishing full diplomatic relations and friendship between the two countries. And I was fortified in this belief by my friend Irwin's total indifference to me during the last so many years. He never thought of me. Only recently, a few days ago, I received a message that I am required very badly at this meeting. And after so many years, when you suddenly invite a criminal lawyer, you begin to suspect that there is something wrong with the client. Post haste, I have attended every session, but this is the first time that I am expressing my views to you, and I have no views to express on this subject because the views have already been expressed. However, ladies and gentlemen, I did think that you will have one problem at least, the problem of Palestine and your settlement with Palestine, which persists and has persisted ever since the dawn of your independence and my independence. I have one bit of advice to give you. My own feeling is that the Palestinians are past masters in the art of proclaiming self-inflicted injuries. And ladies and gentlemen, not only do they proclaim these self-inflicted injuries, but they also have sufficient talent to make some people believe that these injuries are caused by the state of Israel. Please don't succumb to this. Do not succumb even to the kind of advice which you often receive from your own friends. You have gone a long way to settle this problem. You have made many concessions. And if I were you, and my advice to you as a good friend is, you are not expected to make any more concessions to secure peace. Ultimately, peace will come to you. I am surprised that the Prime Minister of Canada yesterday spoke and hinted at almost the possibility of a second Holocaust. I am sure nothing of the kind is going to happen. But if it is to be prevented from happening, ladies and gentlemen, it will not be by false concessions to be made, but it will be your own belief, your faith in your prophets, your faith in your religion, your faith in your valor, your unprecedented and indomitable will. And I have no doubt that you are quite prepared for self-defense. I am aware that you will be in a position to beat down any enemy who has the temerity to make again those kinds of advances and attacks which were made and which made the fate of the 6 Days War. If you look back at your own history, you will recognize that those who have tormented the Jews have ultimately suffered their fate. Hitler is the latest example. And ladies and gentlemen, we all know his attempt at genocide and his own shameful suicide. Something like that